I believe in a combination between execution and personal engagement. I give them the level of independence, but when they come to me for any problem, then I have to give them everything, 100% in order to solve them the problem. I like to also work in values. For me, the door has to be open for anyone. You have to accept any kind of critics, any kind of things in order to create an open space. Now your competitors are robots, artificial intelligence, so you have to be ingenious, you have to change, you have to create something that really are different from the work you are doing every day, because the jobs for the future are not even invented. You can delegate your job, but you cannot delegate your responsibility.
This is CIONET TV. My name is Hendrik Deckers. I'm here today with Ángel Valero, who's the corporate CIO of Telefónica. A very warm welcome, Ángel.
Thank you, Hendrik. Very, very happy to be here with you today.
Ángel has more than 30 years of experience in the IT industry, has worked at Accenture, at Everies. He was the CIO of Banco Santander, the COO of Barclays, and now, since 2013, Ángel, you work at Telefónica, where you are both the corporate CIO and the CIO of Telefónica B2B Spain. So, can you, for these few people that don't know what Telefónica stands for, could you explain a little bit what it is that Telefónica does? What do they really well? How big are they? How many countries? Can you give us the picture of Telefónica today?
Okay. Well, Telefónica, as you know, is a big company. It's a global company. We used to call multi-local company because we have a lot of operations. We are working in more than 15 clients around the world, mainly in Europe and in Latin America. We are present in Spain, Germany, UK, and also in Brazil and the rest of Latin American countries. We are more than 120,000 people around the world.
Wow.
And as you know, we are becoming, it was a communications company, mostly based on communications, fixed line, mobile line. And now we are entering, and we call a digital telco, and we are entering in new businesses as TV media, and also to want to enter in a new products and services in the digital world.
Okay, so a huge telco company that has become a digital company in several different regions. So to make a change, to make a transformation in a huge organization like that is not a simple thing.
No.
Can you give us a couple of examples of the transformations that you and your teams have implemented at Telefónica?
Okay, yes, as you said, it's very difficult because we have a legacy history in Telefónica around our systems. We are not a brand new company as could be Google or Facebook. They are started over from scratch. No? We had a lot of systems and very critical systems to cover. No? So we decided to create what we call fourth platform approach. So we decided to first attack the first platform that could be all the infrastructure. In our case is fiber and our towers. We created all fiber around. We are in the process to cover more 100% of our space in Europe regarding fiber, and we are 50% around in Latin America, because that is the basis of our industry. Then the second and third platform, that is where IT is more related. First, what we call for all the IT systems, and third platform is for the product and services development, in digital development. And the fourth platform that we are is in the cognitive platform, so all the EA specs that we want to exploit. So that's more or less what was the framework. I was engaged in the second platform, let's say, all the IT systems. And we are first three main projects. The first one is to enhance the customer experience and the customer journey for our clients. That is the first thing. The second big project that we are working on is the customer care, so the installation and provisioning. So once you have done the sale, how you treat your client, how you customer care your client. And third, of course, our internal transformation in Telefónica for our culture and people and organization.
So many transformations, both at acquiring customers, serving customers, but also internal systems to optimize the efficiency of the organization. Mm-hmm. Now, to implement these kinds of big transformations, they typically need also a change in culture. So you need to, I think in these times, to make these change happen, you need an open culture for transformation and innovation. Mm-hmm. How are you and your teams implementing this cultural change that is necessary for this?
Yes, yes, that is absolutely true. First, when we decide to do this transformation, we make from scratch approach. So we do a totally greenfield approach. We try to not to reuse what we had, but to build a new thing from the beginning. And then that creates us to use market tools and also to select people, to take people from the business to lead the projects. I think what is even I am from IT, but I think is one of the things that we are following in Telefónica is the business lead, and IT is an enabler for this transformation. So, because if the business area are not reluctant to change, this is not going to happen. So, created an independent team. We, of course, based on agile teams, and created this culture, taking out the people from the day-to-day business operations and move them to an independent team and make them for the transformation projects. And we made this in each of our countries and operations. From the IT perspective, in the corporate area, what we are giving is guidance and a strategic view what has to be done, and led to the countries to operate and execute these projects. So the responsibility is in the area, in the country, but has to be guided for our corporate vision. Mm-hmm.
Now, to implement such a culture means also a different type of leadership. That means I can imagine a more transparent and open leadership style that is necessary for this.
Yes.
Is that correct in Telefónica as well?
Yes. We are changing this way, of course. We are creating this agile culture in order to give people responsibility. We try to think into combine responsibility with personal development of the team. So I understand that the people that works in Telefónica has to do their own personal career and to be happy and to move ahead, and also they have to give us results and execution to the company, because we live for that. No? So we have to try and try to combination between both things in order to develop things. And we have understood that the time you give more responsibility to the second and third levels of the company, they give you a lot of things. We are trying to break all hierarchies in order to try to go directly to the team who is the expert, to ask directly the questions to the expert team in order they have to take the decisions and they can convince the rest of the team in order to have a move ahead. And of course, this is not easy. I mean, it's in some countries is more easy than others. So different cultures also in our countries, but this is the way we are working on.
Yeah, I can imagine that because you're serving all the different countries. So serving UK, Germany, Brazil must be very, very different.
Yes, of course, that's true. So and also in our IT structure, I'm managing what we call global projects. So we had decided that some things has to be done globally and executed globally. For example, the ERP system, financial systems, procurement systems, these kind of systems has to be the same for the whole company. So, and here there is no such big space in the country operations to decide, because is mostly decided by globally and executed by globally. And in the other areas like commercial and the things that are close to the clients, these are giving them in order to have their independence and things. And also we are making what we call a refreshment of the team. So we are trying, we are investing a lot in training and refresh people in order to get used to this new culture and organization. We have done a big project around the company in doing the reskilling project, when first we make a self-assessment of what we need, how digital are we in our company, in our operations, and how are our challenge or reluctant to move to a digital environment. And then we have created different buckets and teams, and then we train them in order to move them.
Let's talk a little bit about the processes to create this digital transformation projects that you're going through. You have to change processes with people. You talked about acquiring new talent, reskilling talent, and so on. What other processes did you need to change to create your transformations?
First, I would say to break the silos. So I think that in our company we are most related to product oriented. In order we have the fixed line team, or that are more related to the product, the mobile team that were more related to the mobile products. So first we change the orientations to the client centric. That sounds very sorry, how to say it? Now it's very common to use it, but I mean, 5 years ago, 7 years ago was not too very useful. So first, client-centric organization, not product-oriented organization. Second, we do a transformational end-to-end processes, not to try to solve only one part of the process, but to see the process end-to-end, from lead to order to cash to collections, and to how to see the project or the process all together, and to have a clear chief or boss or focus area managing the end-to-end processes, and see how the things that you decide in one part of the process is affecting to the end part of the processes. So in this case you can see, and then we have created teams devoted people for marketing, people for sales, people for post-sales area, customer area, bring together, and then we review the processes in the agile, as you know, agile methodology, customer journeys, user histories. Instead, I want to do this buy, I want to do this sell, I want to do whatever, and then this is something that is working, and the people, because they contribute in the table, they say that the ideas that they put in the table are taken into account, then you create a wheel in order to move it.
Okay. Let's talk about technology and what are the technologies that are needed and that are crucial and that can be a catalyst for change. Okay. So what is your strategy, let's say, about the tools, standard tools, open source? What's the strategy of Telefónica in that area?
Yeah. Okay, regarding technology, first, in order to have quick wins during the process of transformation, because the process of transformation is taking 4 or 5 years, we are used to use a lot of RPAs, robots, in order to do some quick wins in our 16 processes. That this has given us a lot of benefits in the short time period. So we are creating a factory of robotization in order to improve some points of the process. And secondly, for the main transformation, we are most oriented to do market products or tools or platforms. We used to work with commercial vendors, Cracker, Salesforce, Velocity, these kind of things. And For our internal development, more or less regarding big data, for example, in big data, we are developing our users cases and so on. Then in this case, we use open source tools. Here we have to combine the ease of using these kind of tools with the support at the end of the chain, because when you give this kind of dependency to our developers, they like to be in the state of the art, and they want to use MongoDB, whatever things, and then you have to, because we are using use a test and error case in order where I test and then when I have something that is already what I want, then I pass the process to what we call industrialization process. So we have the test and error thing, then I have the thing and the use case completed, and then I pass to the industrialization and support. So we have to combine these open source things with the level of support that we have to give to our systems from the end. So we have to combine these kind of things, and it's not easy because we have to live with the idea. Of course, we are creating the DevOps culture. That is also something complicated in companies like us, that we have a legacy and we have very tough certification processes in order to go to production, because our main objective is operation stability. So what we want, we cannot do the transformation without an operation stability. So for us, it's very, very important, 0 errors in production. So we have again to live with this kind of culture when a developer can go even into production and make some changes. So we are skilling our production engineers in order to be ready for this new era is coming.
Let's talk about cloud for a moment. What is your cloud strategy? How far are you going in that? And,
yes.
And also how are you offering that as a service to your B2B clients as well?
Yes, yes, very, very good question. Yes, of course. We have both strategies. We have created, or we have decided to be what we call a hub cloud oriented for our clients. We have decided to create a hub in Spain in our CPD, internal CPD. We have created an announcement with Azure in Microsoft, with Google. They are going to create their cloud nodes in Spain for our Spanish clients in order to be served. Mm-hmm. And also we have our internal private clouds in order that some clients want to use Telefónica services. So we have this kind of combination. So for our clients, we can give them this claim of flavor regarding this. And regarding our strategy, yes, of course, we are in the go-to-cloud strategy. First of all, we started with simple applications like mail and internal communications in order to get trained in the use of SaaS and to work with SLAs and something like this in an easy environment. Then we moved to IaaS in order to create our internal private clouds, in order to put some of our systems in our internal clouds, in order virtualization and orchestration, and get our people trained. And we started to move some things to the cloud in first IaaS environment, for example, big data environments that we had in our internal clouds. Mm-hmm. We started to move to the cloud in order to get trained how to use the cloud and so on. And now we are in the process to move our core systems to the cloud. And I think we are going to take 2-3 years more in order to move all our systems. The final thing is to move the network systems to the cloud. That is something that they are working on, because, as you know, latency is a very huge driver in this thing. And of course, for network, you need latency as first requirement. So it's more or less what we are thinking. We are thinking in 2-3 years' time, we are going to be there. And also, we are working and experimenting with what we call the cloud edge computing, in order to move some cornerstones, some hubs near to the client with a cloud edge strategy. So that's something we are developing, because we have a lot of spaces, because we have some centrals, network centrals in the past, that they are not using anymore because they were copper centrals that they are not going to be used more, and we can use them for these edge points in order to put their cloud environments in order to be near the clients in this kind of latency needs that we're going to be or to live in the 5G space that is coming shortly.
Okay. Let's talk about the organization of IT and digital within Telefónica. I understand there's 120,000 people that work at Telefónica and about 20,000 of them are in IT and digital.
Yeah.
So how do you organize 20,000 people to service the IT and digital?
Okay. Okay, that's it. It's a huge point. First, we have the separated. We have created a CTIO person regarding to the executive committee, and we have a CDDO officer that is the chief digital and data officer. So we have separated. The chief and digital data officer is more related to develop product and services for our clients. For example, video, gaming, things like this. They are more related to this thing. And here in the CTIO space, we are more related with IT and networks. So we have a CTIO that is reporting the executive committee, that is Enrique Blanco. And then we have the corporate CIO, that's myself, that I managing what we call the global projects. We have an architecture global also as well, and then we have the local CTIOs that they receive our guidance for developing their local projects and developing the projects. We have created a strategy what we call something that the strategy is global and can do it once, then is made in the corporate area, myself. Something that is a strategy global, but you can execute locally, then is managed by the local CIOs with the guidelines that we give from architecture and corporate CIO. And third, things that are purely local, then they are managed in a local way in the operations. This is more or less the 3 steps that we are following. And also we are in the process to create a mixed architecture between network and IT, because we think in the telecommunications company, all is going to be virtualized, everything is going to be software. So I think in the near future also our network is going to be a software as well. That is the reason we have joined network and IT in the same box.
So half of your time is dedicated to the day after tomorrow.
Yeah, that is the very, very important thing. We create every year a strategic plan, 3 years in a row, so we are moving 1 year to other in order to see how things are evolving. That's
okay.
I think.
Now, in total, you manage several different teams. In total, more than 500 people. So, what is let's talk a bit about your management style. What is the way that you work with your teams, and how do you make your team successful?
Okay, I think, as I told you, I believe in a combination between execution and personal engagement. So, I have to give my team the responsibility to do the things by their own, following a guidance, and let them to grow professionally in order them to be happy working, and also to demand them some kind of results that they decide. So when I start, for example, at the beginning of the year, I sit with each of them and say, tell me what are going to be your milestones this year, what are going to be your objectives this year. And okay, I discuss with them, okay, this is set. This is your decision. I didn't force you to decide this. This is what you have decided. Of course, you have to enter in the budget envelope, so you have a budget to cover. And then I'm going to deliver this in that phase. I'm going to create this POC for this. I want to think the strategy for that, okay? And then I start to leave them working together, and I have a monthly review more or less with them on how to track and how to things. And for me it's very important, and when they come to me for any problem or any help of escalation, then I have to give them everything, 100% in order to sell them the problem, in order that they confidence and trust on that the person who is managing them is going to help them when they really have a problem, because it's very important. I give them the level of independence, but when we need something, they have to help. And of course, if someone fails, that is normal, we always fail in everyday things, I ask them in order to give them some kind of solution. So I don't let them, okay, I fail in this, it happened that. No, okay, but what you propose to do? Give me some ideas or some things that you are proposing, and then we can discuss how to solve it and how to move ahead.
Let's talk about your leadership style, the way that people perceive you. I mean, you have your management style, but people want to work for people that they respect and look up to and so on. So what do you think people around you, what do you think they will say about you when you're not around? How do they perceive you as a leader?
Yeah, I think this has changed to me. In the past, I tried to be a technological expert leader in order that I can convince my team, because I was the person who knew more than anything in any aspect. So I can convince them because by knowledge as a good engineer, in order to demonstrate that these things are made. And now, of course, that is not working anymore because it's impossible. And then what I convince them is regarding the vision. I think that they come for me because I think that my role is to move them and to guide them in the future. And what is it? I try to think, if you take this decision today, what is going to happen tomorrow? And because the people trying to think only what is going to in the day-to-day operations, but it's just to move them and think, why are you thinking this? What is the relationship? What is the implications that in the ecosystem of Telefónica is happening? What you decide, these kind of things. So that's I think it's more open-minded and things. So I think for three. I like to also work in values. For me, you have to be open, always. The door has to be open for anyone. You have to accept any kind of critics, any kind of things, in order to create an open space. Second is trusted. So I think that is something that I cannot stand, is people who is lying for doing things. No, for me, anything I say is because I can say it. So I am not giving promises to anyone that are not true. I have to give the truth, even it is hard to hear it or to listen to it, but I think this is the way, because they know that the people who comes to me to ask any question, they know they are going to have the truth for the response. No? And second, people to be bold, no? Has to be risky and try to make things that are out of the box. It's more or less this is like also the principles we have in Telefónica, but for me are very important. Also the honesty and the trust in the people that you are working on. I cannot work with people who I don't trust, as anyone, I suppose.
Ángel, let's talk a little bit more about your personality. You shared with me that you're by nature more introvert than extrovert.
Yes.
So how do you become a corporate CIO when you're more introvert? Because you have to lead people, you have to manage people. How did you work with with that, and how did you become a little bit more extrovert? That's maybe necessary as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had to live with it. I mean, it's something. The better thing that is you know your defects, you can overpass them. And it is true. So I am a little shy person in my personal environment, but when I have to go to my professional environment, because I'm very focused on result and executions, I have to do what I have to do. If I have to go to talk with somebody, or I have to do and tell something to somebody, I have to do it. I mean, for me, it's my work, and I overpass it. I mean, I try to also to find people in order to create some kind of networking. For example, you have to go and talk with some local CIO. if I know something that knows him very well, we can go together and try to help me in order to convince them to do something or something like this. I mean, that is true. I mean, it's something, and I try to differentiate a lot my personal life with my professional life. No? So it's I know that people try to more proactive in these kinds of things and spend weekends with your colleagues or something like this. No, in my case, I prefer to put some space, and this work is work, and my personal life is my personal life. It's a different thing.
You are you're an engineer. You're a telecom engineer. You're very rational, but now you're leading a big team. And then you need to be strong on the emotional side as well. And you already explained relationships and trust and so on are very important for you. So how did you grow into that part of your professional skills? How did you develop the emotional side of yourself?
When several things. First, I try to create some kind of mentorings of coaching thing with my teams, and I try to. I think you have to do a lot of feedback to them in order how the things are going, and of course out of the office. So we try to go for a coffee or for a walk, in order that to create an open space more easily, in order to develop this kind of things that let my team open to me, because it is true that in my first reaction I could be a little bit tough in order to ask me for what happened today, whatever. So 10 minutes for delivery, and then other time in order to try to create a different harmony. And this is out of the office, going for a coffee to the coffee shop or walking thing, and try to things. Even in Spain, as you know, we are very used to have lunch with our clients and things. So for one time per year, I go with my team, each one-to-one team, and for a lunch, for review the year and so on. I have a weekly one-to-one meeting with them every week, in order to create this kind of area and confidence thing, because it is true. I understand that for them it's not easy to open them. So I try to create this space, and also to make it many times, in order them to get confidence, in order to start telling me things.
Now that we are in the middle of the pandemic at the moment, and we're all working a lot remote from home and so on, has this now become easier or more difficult for you to build the relationships with the people around you?
Okay, for building relationship of course is more difficult, but for the job, I mean, it has worked very well. I mean, it's I think even better than being in the office, because the people is really more focused on delivery and execution. But it is true that for relationship, for things are more difficult, of course. Not one-to-one, because one-to-one like today, but we are talking and so on, no problems. But in order to create a space for discussion, for strategies, then it is really, I think it's really needed to be in the same space. That's important. And of course, in our case in Telefónica, first, what we want is of course the health of the people. Second was to serve our clients, that let them to not to have any communications, any downlines or something like this. And third, to deliver our projects, no? To secure our business.
Let's talk about what drives you. When at the end of the day, when you close your computer down and you go into your private space, when are you happy? When is it that you say, well, this was really a great day?
Yes, well, of course, for me, delivering transformation, I think all of my career and all of my movements I made is because I think I'm very good at that, of delivering results and execution. So when I get some results, and one is one thing I'm really happy to this is a good day because we have delivered something to the client. I'm very happy when I see that the things that we deliver as IT, they are used a lot in the business areas and the users, and say, oh, this has really a rational and sorry to say it, well, a useful thing for the delivery that we have. So that's really happy that you make things that they are useful for something.
Okay. Angel, do you have a personal mantra, a saying that when things get tough, that helps you in your decision making?
Okay, I have one. It's not. That I always tell to my team is that you can delegate your job, but you cannot delegate your responsibility. You have a responsibility that you have to follow. If you are doing yourself, you make someone to do it, you subcontract someone or whatever, it's okay for me. But you have your responsibility. That is one of the things I also do. And second is that don't let the people let the things that you should do. Again, so you can use people to do things, but the things have to be done. So you have to make the things happen. For me, it's very important. Make the things happen, because it's not enough do it by yourself, because you are one people or two people, three people is not enough. You have to mobilize hundreds of people. So my team has to make the things happen to the rest of the organization.
In your professional career, have there been mentors, people that you look up to, people that you learned a lot from? Can you give an example and what it was that you learned?
Yes. I had a former boss who moved me from Santander to Barclays. First of all, that is perhaps something I'm missing, but it was positive attitude always very positive, very thinking that how is going to happen, no problems, we are going to superate these things. So create a very positive environment that makes you happy, and also very good strategic view. I like bosses that help me in thinking in the future. So, for example, when we decided in Barclays, decided to open 200 branches, 300 branches, and so had to convince people, they mobilize, and people should help you in the things that we need, and things that if I call anyone, he is going to give me a response. So this is the thing. My decision I take in my professional career in order to movements are very dependent of the bosses I am going to work with. For me, it's very important. And I think I have to say that I have very good bosses in this year. If not, I move and go away.
Angel, you have shared with me that your wife works at Telefónica and you have two grown-up daughters. What are the family values that you really stand for? What is it the values that you have given to your children?
For me, I told them that this is perhaps a Latin aspect, but for me, family is very important. I think it's my first thing in my life. So, and I try to convince them with the same values. Try to convince that my daughters that the family is always going to be there. Any problem you are going to have, you can have discussions, but at the end of the day, you have a response for these people. So, and also try to work them in my values. No, I try to do that things without effort. Difficulty is going to happen, so they have to, because they can be very intelligent, but they don't work every day, try to reach the milestones, they are not going to happen. Also to be honest and trusted, in order that you can convince, to have very good friends, to give them the same openness and honesty that they have. And also I like to travel with them very much. It is one of my personal favorite things is to travel with my family, to make a family trip every year, and to know world and to create experiences with them that they can remember in the future. And when I remember us in the future, that's, oh, I went to this place and with this place with my parents and with my family.
You have built a very successful career, but I'm sure you've done many, many good things, but you also had your failures. Could you share with us your most brilliant failure ever, and what did you learn from that?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, when I was at the beginning of Everies, I made a project in a company that was very huge. In that moment there were more than 100 people in the project. In Everies in that moment perhaps they were 500 or 600, so it was very big project regarding the company we sized. And in that moment I was more interested or trying to find the team and to become the team that to really find very big good people. So my finding here is, if you don't have the people for doing the thing, don't do it. I mean, you have to have the expertise, you have to do more than sell anything, and you don't have the resources to do it. No? You have to understand what you have in front of you. If you can achieve it, don't go for it. I mean, it's preferred to do it in another environment, to find a partner to do it, to find another way, but not to be focused on that you are able to do it because you are very good and it's going to happen. No, you need a team behind you in order to these kind of things happen.
What is it, Ángel, that you are most grateful for in your life? What is it that you say, well, I'm really, really grateful for that this happened into my life?
My daughters, because I think I'm very, very proud of them. They are very good persons, they are very good students, they are very, and of course my wife. I think the most thing, the best thing I have done in my life is to marry with my wife. It's the best thing at all. And in professional life, I think to come to Telefónica means, I think Telefónica, they think in Telefónica as an elephant, but it is true. But in Telefónica you can do whatever you want, because you have all the resources to do it. Telefónica is not a question of money, it's not a question of people, it's more a question of convince the people to do it. Because if you convince, then they give you the support and you can move mountains. In other kind of companies, it's not so it's more complicated. In Accenture, you have to go to the holding in USA in order to do things or whatever. They always put excuses that you are not. Here in Telefónica, very, very near to the executive committee and trying so, and think that it's a very, very good company. And think it's going to, I hope to be here for years.
Ángel, this video is going to be watched by many IT professionals, people that look up to global CIOs, to corporate CIOs, and say, one day I also want to have a job like this. What is the advice that you would give to younger people that have the ambition to be in your shoes one day?
I mean, the thing first is you have to be ready for change. I mean, you have to learn how to change. You cannot stay. You think in our life technology is a driver, but it's not a must or an end. It's something that you use in order to develop your career. So you have to always to be learning and to be conscious of what is happening, because in your life you can change many times for your job. So, and also you have to take risk. So if you don't take risk, you are not going to change. And the third thing is, if something is failing, try to think differently approach, because if you think in the same way, always is going to happen the same. So try to think and to try different approaches in order to solve the problems that you are facing. of course, change. I mean, we are living in, I don't know, unfortunately or fortunately, we are in a change environment. And in our time, the industrial revolution was different. Now, your competitors are robots, so artificial intelligence. So you have to be ingenious, you have to change, you have to create something that really are different from the work you are doing every day, because as many people said, the jobs for the future are not even invented today.
Correct. We live in interesting times. That's the least that we can say, right? Ángel, with that, I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you for being here with us. Although you're in Madrid and I'm in Belgium here, we still had a brilliant discussion here. We learned a lot about leadership, about organizing teams, about Telefónica and so on. So thank you again, and see you soon in real life, hopefully in Madrid.
Okay, thank you very much to you, Hendrik, and to CIONET, and hope to see you near time face to face.